Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another video. Unto you, much love, heirs of our Father's promise. And we're here for what? Another day of edifying. And why is that? Well, because this is always a reminder of how we should deal with life and the importance that it brings, in our surroundings, let alone how we should be very vigilant, discerning, and very wise on how we approach this world. Now, to get straight to the subject, now as of why I make these videos, well, first, thank you guys for supporting me in all aspects. That includes TikTok, Instagram, whatever, YouTube, whatever, Snapchat, if that be so, right? Um, Twitch, if that is also a platform that you guys would like to check. However, that it is, right? I thank you for your support, for even in the comment sections, the hearts, the subscription, because we, unfortunately, some people they're not grateful for the little things, and I'm very grateful for the little things as well. For the 200 and almost close to 300 subscribers that are building up on this channel. Thank you all for supporting. And of course, this is not my channel. Of course, this is our channel, being the reason why I do this every single day. Okay? And it's not much really I really care for besides just connecting with us. Connecting with you all. And just edifying our ways of life, being able to transparently just see things for what it is rather than just rather than just living accordingly to our own ideals and what we want as in life. There's a term that says too much of anything can kill you, but also unalive you. And but too less of anything can also do the same. So we need to coherently always give balance because why? Well, order is of our Father's creation. Everything has order from the beginning to its end. At least in this world, everything that is life related always is a cycle. So, what is today's topic? Today's topic is about what? And it says, when you decide to build structure, you become targeted through your journey. And this is going to reference more so in the verses that I'm going to give you today, which is going to be in the Chronicles of Saints Matthews and chapter 4. So if you would like, you could grab your biblioteca, your buy and bow, however which way that you would like, or if you want to just follow along, please be my guest and do so if you would like. Now, we're not going to take too long on these trips because, unfortunately, I know that a lot of you don't like watching hour-long videos, and personally, myself, I don't either. Um, I have to also I have to make a custom and adjustment to how I reach you guys as well. It's not in the take of me just wanting to be here and talk all day. And if I could communicate with every last one of you, I will. Okay. But let's start first with obviously contradiction because why not? I always give you a contradiction and an inspiration. The contradiction is to understand the differences of the old and the now, which is the modern time of our current era. And the inspiration is so that you know exactly how you're dealing with what you're dealing, and also for you to deal with what you're dealing, right? And know who you're dealing because your enemy takes forms. It doesn't matter if it's little or big. They will always try you, no matter the circumstances of how, what is ever, whatever that it could ever be. It could be an inanimate object. They can try to finesse you by inputting a certain type of mindset in you. You destroy something by accident. Now you're enraged. Now you're cursing things out. Now you have a reason to feel some type of way. No, no. See, when people get enraged, the first thing that shows signs is what? Demonic possession. Yes, you could be angry about something that is meant to be angry about, like the loss of life, somebody raping people, assault, things that actually matter rather than things that are objectified, right? So remember this: demons, they love places where there are always arguments, they love tension, they love troublesome situations. They don't like peace, even if it's big or small. And remember, when somebody is always in a situation, you have to look at things from a perspective of what two people are doing. You have a situation where somebody can be calm, and you have a situation where somebody can be angry. Being angry has to be justifiable based on what is. There are a lot of people out here that can be murderers, gangsters, whatever, and they choose not to. And you got some that used to be murderers, gangsters, and they left those type of lifestyles and they, took a different road, whatever the case is. So when you know how demons operate, you know exactly how to deal with them. Silence is also key because the spirit talks. It's not always to a physical, inanimate, or animate object. It talks. And when your demons, they know their place, they can only try their best to steal your energy. But when they can't, what do you think happens? They get frustrated. They lose all motives of being able to logically think. This is where manipulation comes from a far distance to a close distance. People will insult you. They will say whatever they want to say. But you can't insult somebody when you don't know exactly who you're worshiping. It won't make sense. Like I said, you can insult me, but don't insult the person that I'm worshiping, because that's the same person that tells your demons to keep you alive. Either you know it or you don't know it. That person is making sure that you have the energy to do what you do on your normal basis of life and living, either if you know it or don't know it. That same person by his name, if you know his name or you don't know his name, is the same person that allows you to speak. So regretfully, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know these things. So when they choose the path of worshiping idols, they forget themselves. You can't be Christian and worshiping another's thing. It doesn't work that way. You can't have two gods. You cannot have two masters. You can't. It's only one. If you choose one option, you have to leave the other. Because you have one that's going to lead you to life, and you have the other that's going to lead you to death. And this is the reason why the journey that I've been in for a very long time now, even if it's a couple of months, it's been really eye-opening to me. because I see exactly, like I say these things sometimes because imagine you know your enemy so well that you know what they're going to do, what they're going to say, before they do, before they possess, before they attack, before they do anything that they do. And imagine them still attacking you. And you just don't want to make the situation worse by laughing in their face. Imagine that. That's how the situation works. So if somebody tells you something ahead of time, like, hey, judgment is coming, real judgment is coming, and you're still doing what you're doing, understand that whatever that you know is not going to come close or protecting you. I don't speak to the person, I speak to the demon. The many demons that come to contradict, that come to deceit, that come to blaspheme, that come to seduce, that come to control, that comes to manipulate, that comes to thieve, that comes to eradicate, steal, all of these things. That is the demon that I'm talking about. Because a lot of people gave up other people thinking that they have the power to do so when they don't. See, the thing about how this world works is when you're associated to something, it doesn't mean, let's just say, let me give you an example. Let's say I have a father, right? And my father is associated with some type of group of people. Now, does it mean that I'm associated with those people? No, I could choose to not be. So if you make a deal, right, and that deal has revolved to be included me in that situation, right? Do you think it's going to work if I know what it is, but I'm not included and I'm not involved and I don't give it permission for it to even happen? No, it won't. And that is my word. That is my word. Not that it's my word alone and it's in a sense of I'm just saying it. No, I have to give it permission because they can't do nothing to me spiritually. There are levels to everything and there are laws and regulations to everything. So if somebody unlawfully took something from you, by law they're going to have to give it back 10 times and more. That's how that works. Spiritually, you have things that's called what? Invitation and decline. People can associate their movement to you, right? If you accept what they give unto you. But there are things that are temporary and there are things that are meaningless. And you know the difference between those two things, brothers and sisters? The things that are temporary, right? It only lasts for a very short period of time, meaning there's not enough energy to convert whatever the process is. And the other one, it's just going to malfunction. Let's just put it at. It's just going to malfunction because everything requires either a generator, which is a body, a place where energy can be taken out. So if people make things, there are similarities as well. Let me say that before I continue. There are similarities to those two words. And the reason and the similarity is no different when it comes to acceptance and denial. Meaning, if in those scenarios, let me say that, in those scenarios, if it doesn't work the way that people want it to work, they're going to need a source. So the similarity will be what? that is no difference to how they operate because they still need A, B to give you C. They have no other way of going on around it. So, being the law of how those things function, you understand the concept. So, like I was saying, like a generator, they need energy to access exactly what they want to do. But if you don't give them access to a contract, don't that mean that everything that they've been doing has been illegal? So if they were to do that and they have not paid back exactly what they've stolen illegally, knowing that the person knows that you've illegally been stealing from them, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to get persecuted. You're going to get trialed. And usually those things are never good. So when people wonder why fighting people for things that don't need to be fought is not necessary, it's because we have this word called a guilty mindset. Usually people that start things or always want to fight, they usually have something they want to defend, which is 9 out of 10 their ego. And when we talk about ego, brothers and sisters, we know that ego is derived of a pride, which is a demon. Very, very direct. It is a demon. They require certain tabloids of, their own understanding so that they can have the sources to do what they want to do. But if you steal from somebody illegally, imagine somebody having a lawyer, and the lawyer tells you, yes, we've been monitoring everything that you've been doing to this specific customer or client. And it shows that at this time, for how many years, for howsoever many years have went by, you have been stealing from this person. And eventually they started to figure it out. And what do you think happens? So fighting is not a necessity because if I fight, that will give you a reason to say something in court, but it's still not going to take away the fact that you've been stealing. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's a difference between being caught, meaning you were doing a crime and your crime was put on display because you've been exposed. And there's a difference between that and you thinking that you're slick when you're not. And me, brothers and sisters, I'm speaking to the devils and to the demons. There are a lot of people that like watching these videos. And like I said, I don't speak to the flesh. The flesh, once you accept demons in your body, I no longer have to speak to the flesh. I speak to the devils and to the demons because why else would I convict a person for? It's not my job. My job is to remind those devils for them to know their place. It's to inspire the people by being an example of knowing better, of not having to speak about destruction, but peace, love, and order. See, tranquility is based off of your understanding. So when you lack understanding, you know nothing at all. It doesn't matter how many prophets, preachers, pastors you always get information from. They're not going to help because your journey is not personal. You're not truly seeking. You're avoiding. When you avoid your journey, It becomes fake because a lot of people, when they pray, they don't pray as themselves. Or if they do pray as themselves, they pray with a motive of anger, of pride, of selfishness, of chaos. They don't pray for the sake of potential of good. And that's why I come to remind us all. But let's get into the verse real quick so we can actually get this started. And I didn't write. Well, it doesn't matter. But like it's still gonna relevate to the subject anyways that I was just speaking about. It says, Christ replied and said to the Spirit and said, we live not by bread alone, but by every word that is spoken by Elohim's mouth. So as long so along his journey the devils manipulated his route onto the highest hills over the cities and had him see them at its pinnacle. From there he told Christ to jump from the edge of that hill and let Eli's angels catch him, since that's their task, so that he won't be harmed. But Yahushua had responded, and he said, it is written. My apologies. It is written, I believe. Yes, right here. It is written, tempt not your master, your creator. But not convinced yet, the devils redirected his route onto another mountain that had other great cities where their magnificent sights can be seen, and said to Christ, if he worship him, all of which he was shown will be his, which is the devils, the shaitans, the jinns, or however you want to call them, right? From there, Christ commanded the devils and said, depart from thee, Satan, for it is written. Well, did I not take a picture of the rest of that? I don't believe I did. I did. For it is written, well, it says, depart from me, Satans. For it is written, all shall worship Yahuwah only. For he is our mighty ruler, and in him only shall we serve. So we have to know our place in Christ, because we cannot be fake. See, even when I speak about the pastors and the preachers, I speak mainly on the message and the truth of what's spoken. See, there are a lot of pastors in Africa, Cameroon, there are a lot of pastors in Nigeria, Uganda, however many, even here in the United States and Italy, if they're either popes, priests, chaplains, or saints, whatever you want to call them, right? And these people have way more money than they should. Sometimes their church look raggedy. They don't even care. They see a lot of people that don't have anything, but they'll donate to a charity before the people themselves that go to that church. Mm. But let's look at an inspiration. Well, first, let's look at the contradiction. Why was Christ battling those devils in that state of mind? He knew himself. He had faith. Christ means what? The appointed one, the anointed, appointed one. So we are to be like Christ. We are to know our place and who our Father is. Because a lot of people have forgotten. That's why when they pray and they speak, there's no power behind it. There's no oomph behind it, because why? They're following trends. They're following how everybody else do it. They're not walking in their own personal journey. They haven't let go of their ego. They haven't given themselves to Christ. They haven't given themselves to the truth. They haven't even did research to know anything. They listen to other people, listen to many other people. They don't type these words. They don't read every day. They don't pray every day. Yes, you should pray every day. You don't have to read a whole bunch of verses every day. One is just perfectly fine if that's what it takes for you to be in the place of where you need to be, that, Christ would like for you to be. That's all it takes. Just that connection, that bond. A lot of people have lost that connection. That's why their heart had become callous, because they don't care. And if they did care, it would show. Materialistic giving is not the same thing as a spiritual and a mental giving. Because when you're manipulative and it starts to show in you, we can see the agitation. We can see that it's not normal. It's demonic activities. And the fact that you don't deny it, that's how we also know it. Because a lot of people that are demonically possessed, they don't deny it. Rather, they'll change the topic. They'll start accusing you of things that never either happened, or they're going to bring the past of things that happened 20 years ago. As people, our job is to what? Move forward. But if somebody is holding you to a bait, to a string, and telling you to move forward, it's like you basically having a rope tied to you that's connected to a house. They're telling you to move forward. So you have to push the house and that person. That's a lot of weight. So when judgment comes, it's going to be fair. It's not going to be unfair. It's going to be very fair. You cannot say that I did not tell you here first. I told you, and you chose to not listen. Let's go into inspiration. And mind you, guys, I speak to the spirit. So the people that are listening, it's not my job to convict you. It's my job to remind you. Because the moment that you're alive is however long that you will remain alive. But once that decision for you to go and pass is here, who's going to I can't stop it. I cannot stop time. I cannot stop death. If it be our Father's glory, then it be so that his truth and his work is in play, that his will is manifested. But as far as everything else, I have no place. It's not my place to step in. It's not my business. It could have been something that could have been prevented, but you didn't want it. That's how I look at it, people. All right? Let's get into inspiration. And no, I don't have the verses for this, but I have the verses for it. Well, at least I have two verses written down. That's the number, actually. And the subject for the inspiration, the first one, is in verse 4. And it says, know how to reply with wisdom. Which was what? Christ replied and said to the Spirit and said, we live not by bread alone, but by every word that is spoken by our Elohim's mouth. So everything that we say out of our mouth, it should come from the grace and the goodness and the fulfillment of our Creator. Not insults, not degrading, not disrespect or hate or anger. It should be positive and loving. See, you only speak anger out to someone that you hate, and that's the truth. A lot of people don't like it. If you don't hate somebody, you would never say nothing negative about them. And if you were to say something negative, it would be something that you will laugh at, not be angry. That's the truth. Not a lie, not a fallacy. You can't pick and choose a truth. Remember, 99.99% of a truth is still considered a lie. So using philosophy or psychology, I said philosophy, but still not the same thing, but somewhat in that region. But using psychology, it doesn't help your state of manner. There's a difference between spiritual wisdom and knowledge. You can learn a lot in this world, but you can also be as slow as a brick. See, you can have people give you advice about things that don't make sense, that sound smart, but it's not sounding. You know the difference between something that is intellectual and sound? Intellectual is something that is, conjuncted together to bring a biased understanding that could be resonating, right, to things that can be proven factual, but it's also opinionated based off of theories that can also be what? Argumentated. Or is that, yeah, disputable? My apologies. That can be disputable. Spiritual wisdom is being able to have all of that and understand the concept of it in every aspect, every angle. Break it down from the macro to the micro, from metaphysics to physics to spiritual to mental and emotional. Being able to regulate your mind on the perspective of what you understand. Wisdom is not the same thing. It's not just the same thing as knowledge. Knowledge is the information that you gain. So however that you use it is however that is produced as a result. So for a lot of people that think that they're smarter than everyone, please calm yourselves. Brothers and sisters, calm yourself. Because first thing that you need to be is humble. Sometimes you gotta know not to speak. Because sometimes you can say things out of your mouth that I don't even think you even realize that you're saying out of your mouth. You know, when you say that you are a child of your creator, how can you be a child of your creator and all you do is speak negatively about a lot of people? You spread rumors. You talk about toxic things, but then talk about positivity. It doesn't work that way. You know what that's considered? Contradiction. If somebody were to ask me anything about me, I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to hide the truth. I have no reason to. I don't have to steal from anybody. You ask me if I took something? Yes, I took it. If I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to take something, I'm going to let you know that as well. Simple. It's like if somebody left $10,000 on the table, I'm not going to take their money. I don't care even if it was $20 million on the table. $1 is still stealing. $2 is still stealing. Stealing is stealing regardless at the end of the day. Doesn't matter who it is, however many. That's what it means to have integrity. You can't be loyal to somebody and you're stealing from them and don't think that it's not going to come back to you. I pray that the potential of your salvation comes. And that's how I think for everyone, those that are for me and those that are against me. And that's how a lot of you need to think. Because this world is getting worse and worse by the day. People that are trying to figure me out, they can't figure me out because they don't even understand who they are. They think they understand who they are. I don't even understand fully 100% who I am. But I do know one thing. I'm not led in the wrong direction. Hmm. And I realize that too. Because it's never usually whenever I'm doing something, you know, bad. It's usually whenever I'm doing something good that distraction comes, that problem comes. Because why? The enemy wants to know whenever I do something on a punctual time. And then when I change that, it confused them. That included everything else that came with it. It confused them. So not only am I confusing my enemies, they don't know how to attack me. They don't know where to attack me. They're just attacking, hoping that it's like somebody throwing a fist in the air. They don't know how I'm going to move. They just don't care. They're just going to say it's going to hit them somewhere. They don't know if it's going to hurt me or don't hurt me. Imagine I eat that hit and then I strike back. It's going to be worse getting stricken back and you don't know exactly how it's going to get, how you're going to get hit. This is how I look at my enemies, like little toddlers walking around trying to have fun, looking at people as if they're toys, as if they're jokes. That's how I look at them, little toddlers playing around with giants. You're not a giant, you're playing around with a giant, and you don't even know it. But unfortunately, a lot of you will eventually figure that out. And sisters, brothers and sisters, this goes to a lot of you, for a lot of you that are giants, right? Keep in mind, keep your stature, keep your loyalty, keep your strength, your faith, your hope. Faith cannot exist if you don't have hope. And that's what's missing in our community. And that's what's missing in our lives and in everything that we do out here in this world. Because a lot of people have been led for generations to generations before their existence. They've been led in the wrong path. You can be Christian, but you can't be Christian and Hindu. You're contradicting both sides of your understanding. You can't be Christian and Buddhist. That means you haven't read the word. Doesn't matter if it's in the Codex, the Gita, the Tanakh, or you want to say the Torah, the Geneva, the Bible, the NIV, whatever that you want to consider as a version of the scripture. Doesn't change much. Because, to even figure out that even the Quran, majority of his lectures in the Hadith, it came from where? The Torah. It came from the Old Testament. When you put two religions that are one and things have been written just as a testimony as well, but names have been changed and debunked, what do you think happens? We get things like denominations, different churches, corruption, lies, war, destruction, and a whole bunch of things that just shouldn't exist. I thought I felt something. Just a whole bunch of things that should not exist. But it exists because why? People like trinkets, items that they can sell to boost their morale of fake faith. They put their faith in the items rather in their works of their spiritual aspect in their journey. Give me one moment. And that's the reason why a lot of people are losing themselves because they will wear a cross. They will know that it's of Christianity, but then people also don't realize that the cross, yes, the cross can symbolize Christianity when it comes to the religion, but the cross also symbolizes other things. The Knight Templars and many more other symbology. A lot of people don't even know that. The same way that people don't know that there's Judaism and the Freemasonry. Hmm. Yeah, if you guys would like to do your own research on that, you go ahead and do that. I have documents, so I don't even have to try. And like personally, I will have no reason to lie at all. Freemasonry and Judaism, no difference. The black box, the Muslim also worship. There's just so many correlations that people are not understanding why there's so much division. But then they will contradict and say that there's no correlation at all, that there's not some type of puzzle that's missing from the equation. And that's the reason why many people suffer by these dragons, the children of the vipers. It's because they don't want to do their own research. They would rather sit down and argue against religion for religion to start back this world war. I've said in multiple of my videos, war is an inevitable scenario that will pop up. It will pop up. And I'm not talking about country wars that have been ignited back and forth and nowhere in the United States. No, war will come when we least expect it. And it's going to start off with what? People taking away our rights. That includes the knowledge of having the word. These things have already been predestined. Do you not know that the devils and the Satans, they know the word better than you and I? They've been studying it for years. That's the reason why they were able to get people to translate it. Do you think that people would translate something and publish these things without them knowing about it? Without them having any type of hands or say-sos in the actions or the altering possibility of mankind? This is what I want you guys to understand. The Bibles that we read are testimonies. They're inspirations of the Holy Scriptures, of what we call the gospel, right? Look up the word gospel and break down the roots of the word syllable, vowel per vowel, syllable by syllable, in every language that you possibly can, right? It's an inspiration to guide us into truth because the purpose is there. So it is truth. But the way that it was written so that mankind can use it to distract each other, to create corruption, disruption, so people can be convicted of a trinkets like items for you to put your faith in. That if you hold a cross and have holy water, then that's how you get rid of demons. Those are all old traditions of the Old Testament because exorcism existed before what? It existed before Christ came into the physical picture. It existed way before Christ came in the picture of being actually seen by people. So a lot of people are not realizing that all of these things are ruled by a main governing. And I'm not talking about the government from, the FBI, CIA. No, this is that is little. They're just a part, a function, some type of a chart on a pie, a slice on the pie that plays their role, just like the Democrats and the Republicans, the politicians, hmm? The sinners. Christ ate with them. He dined with them. They even, they themselves, they themselves, what did they do? They showed him more respect than his own people. And do you know why? It's because they already knew and they did not care. They were more receptible of logic and sound than our own people. Our own people have been through so much problems that they don't know when good is in front of them. That's why they subjugate all of these pills, subscriptions, medicine, therapies. All you're doing is vicing your problems onto something. Because once it runs out, what then? Once those drugs run out, what then? What then? You're going to be considered a fiend afterwards. And anybody that takes my words out of context, you should know better. I'm not going to shame you on here, but you should know better. That means you got to go back and watch the video if you're picking and choosing words exclusively, however that you want to do that. But I would like for a lot of you to maintain yourselves, watch the government, watch your friends, your families, strangers, animals itself, insects. I used to get attacked by bugs for no reason when it was cold. Imagine that it's not cold and it's actually really hot and insects are no longer attacking me. Can you imagine? So if that's not an attack of magic, don't know what else to tell you. There's a backyard back there. This window right here, it doesn't really hold too much. A fly can get through that window. So I'm sure spiders can as well. If there was ants, they probably can as well. So to say, a lot of us, we deal with attacks. All of us. But when people are promised something because they think that they're going to gain it, and they don't realize they're going to lose everything that they were promised because that was a trap from their own enemies, thinking that their enemies have their back, what do you think is going to happen? When things are not going to go their way, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to lose their minds. It's like if I watch any of these prophecy videos and I'm like, hey, I'm going to listen to all of them and not care who and what says what. I'm going to care about, I'm going to just take in everything that they say. Some things, yes, I'm supposed to watch because it's meant for me to hear. Some things, no. I mind my business. I deal with the things that I'm supposed to deal with. If I know that it's not convicting me and it's not sounding to my scenario and what I've been given in life and what has been given as a gift unto me, do you think I'm going to pay attention to it? No. We pick and choose. But if I'm told that fire burns and I'm not supposed to touch fire, why would I touch fire for? It wouldn't make any sense. So it's like if I was to sell, if I, let's say music is something that I want to do, right? And I'm told that because I'm Christian, right? I'm told that selling my soul is not a good thing, right? By my creator. Just like the apple, or you could say the tree of good and of the knowledge of good and evil, right? And selling my soul is not a good thing, right? And the music industry, they might have an interest in me, and they like, hey man, the only way you can be in this scenario is if you sell your soul. You know, it's not really that bad of a thing. You know, you could just do it one time. It's not gonna hurt nobody, and you don't have to do it again. Doesn't that sound very viperish to you? Oh, you don't have to do it again. Just one time. Just do it one time. One time. That's all it takes, one time. You have all the money to influence the powers that you want in the world. Hmm. You know how very stupid that sounds? Oh, I'm going to go and touch fire, but then I'm going to burn though. It don't matter. See, when you walk in truth and you walk in light, you look at things for what it is. You don't look at the masquerade, this makeup foundation situation that people are putting up in your face. You're looking at people for who they are. Like if you have X-ray vision, you'll be seeing skeletal bones. You'll be seeing blood vessels, veins, all of it. That's how I look at some of these things. When people are giving people opportunity, I look straight in their soul. Are you a liar? Are you a pathological liar? Are you telling me the truth? You know, it's weird how when you stop lying, you can tell when somebody's lying to you. It's like so awkward Because I used to be a hypothetical liar, a BSer on a whole nother level. I want to say that because I actually wasn't that bad, but I was, yes, I have lied a lot. I wasn't stealing as much as I lied, but let alone probably rob people or whatever that it was, sold stuff. Um, but when you stop lying and you look at people and you just look at them directly, you could tell, you could just judge them, not judging them in a negative way, but you can tell in a behavior sense of how they act or who they are, just from the physical aspect. Then the mannerism on a mental aspect, then the spiritual and emotional as well. All of these things are going to take factor on who you're speaking to. And sometimes people, before I talk to them, it's like I have dreams about talking to them before I talk to them. So imagine I have a dream to talk to you before I talk to you. And then it's like I say things that you're thinking about, and you just have the inability to wonder how I know what you're thinking. These things are real. There are a lot of people that are spiritually sensitive, that they don't play about certain things. But enough of that. Um, been on here for a while. I'm going to say much love to you all. My advice for today is, as always, be loving. Know that the battle is already won. War has started, but the battle is won. Judgment is coming, and we must prepare for better swords, shields, armor, because the new enemies that are going to rise, they're not going to be like the old ones. They got craftier. So please, protect yourself. Protect your mind. Protect your family. Protect your heart, your spirit, your integrity, and your principles. Protect you and ask to be protected. Stay in truth always, as you should be. And stop watching the trends and following those trends. All right? Much love to you. And of course, if somebody say they don't like me giving you a kiss or them a kiss, you already know what I'm going to say. Mwah! Love unto you guys. Take care. All right?